everyone. I hope that you all are doing really well today. I wanted to film this little review slash swatch slash chill kind of chat video about this Himi Gouache palette that I just received for Christmas this year from some lovely people. I haven't had the chance to try it yet, and I'm really excited to see how it works, so let's get started. So first things first, it comes in this nice case. I believe you can get different colors, but I have this yellow one. You can see that it's kind of see-through and it just snaps on and off. And this one came with this little extra gift inside. I believe it's supposed to be a water holder that you can use, and I think the little arm comes out and is supposed to be able to hold your brushes. I didn't use it this time, but I thought it was really cute that that was included. I love fun little extras like that. And it also included this nice little palette. I like that the palette is a perfect size to fit right inside the box, so you don't have to worry about carrying it separately. And here are all the paints. They're all so lovely. There are 24 in this set, but you can get other sizes of sets as well. But I just started opening each one by one. I was debating whether or not to open them all at once, but I decided since I wanted to do a swatch video, I might as well just film myself opening them as well. As I'm starting to open these, I'm really noticing how vivid and nice and rich the colors are. I love that peach color. And I really am starting to like the texture just from visuals. I really like the way that it appears thick, but it's not too gloppy or anything. For those of you who don't know what gouache is, it's a type of paint that I best describe as kind of like if watercolor and acrylic paint had a baby, it would be gouache. It's a little bit thicker than watercolor and a little bit more substantial. You get a little bit more of an opaque sort of finish when it dries. And I really like gouache because I think it allows you to do a little bit more than you can with watercolor. It seems a little easier to work with. It's not quite as finicky in my opinion. But I'm really loving these colors. I think they gave you a pretty good variety. And I'm excited to do another video where I actually do a real painting with these and kind of experiment with mixing them, because I think they're going to mix pretty well. I don't want to jinx myself. Maybe they won't, but just from the looks of it, they have a really good color variety and I really like the texture so far. Alright, so now I'm going to do some swatches. I've just set up this little circle swatch page for myself, and I've labeled each one. I know it's kind of hard to see because my writing is so little, but I wanted to really show all 24 on one page. And as I'm starting to use it, I'm kind of experimenting with how much water I need to get the desired effect. So since I wanted most of these swatches to be pretty uniform in texture and in thickness and everything, I tried to use the same amount of water for each color. Obviously I couldn't do that perfectly, but I tried to make them all as uniform as possible. Something that I noticed was that they really don't need much water to get going. I even tried using a few of them just straight out of the palette without any water added, and for the most part that worked fairly well. I think most of them just really needed a couple drops to really get going and get flowing, but it seemed like for the most part they were really good texture, a really good consistency. I was actually pretty impressed because this palette, you know, it was trendy, and I saw a lot of things, people saying that, you know, it was only good for beginners, or it was only good if you didn't have a lot of knowledge of gouache. But I really think that just because something seems like it's good for beginners doesn't mean that it isn't also good for people with experience. And I am kind of in between. I wouldn't call myself a super experienced person with gouache. I just really like it, and I kind of use it in my own way, whether that be technically the right way. but I really like it, and it seems like it's just a nice kind of baseline between acrylic and watercolor if you're looking for something that's not really as thick or as bulky as acrylic, but if you're looking for something that's a little more easy to control than watercolor, gouache is probably perfect for you. And I think compared to other brands I've used like Winsor & Newton, this holds up pretty well. I mean, I didn't see any glaring errors with it. I thought that it went on really smoothly, and I noticed that you could really change the opacity of it pretty easily. Like, I don't know if you can tell on my swatch sheet, but like that pale green color, you can see where I might have added just, a little more water to that one, and you can see that it was kind of see-through, kind of transparent in some parts, but for some of the others you could tell that I added less water, and you can see how strong that color really is. Like that one, for example, that black is really nice, really strong, and so I was really impressed with the wide variety of like opacity that you can get with these, which I think is one of the most important parts of gouache, and one of the most exciting parts of it is that you can really alter the way that it looks and sits on the paper based on how much water you choose to use. I also used one brush this whole time and just rinse it off between each color. Obviously I couldn't get every single bit of paint off between each color, so some of them might be a little muddied, but I tried to have the brush be as clean as possible and have them be as accurate as possible, because I really wanted y'all to be able to see the colors really clearly. And last up we have the white. You can't see it very well, obviously, because it's on white paper, but I thought it went on really well. A thing that a lot of people like about gouache is that it comes in white. Usually with watercolor, white is not included because the white is created with the color of the paper and not the actual paint. But there's all my swatches, and there's the nice little paint palette with all the beautiful colors. I think it turned out pretty well. I'd like to see, I know that some people do, when they're using gouache or watercolor and they're doing swatches, they really test like a scale of the least opaque to the most opaque. And I didn't do that this time, but I probably will end up doing that just because I want to see the full range of what these little guys can do. But for now, I really feel like I'm pretty darn happy with these. I know that a lot of people have made review videos on these that are probably much better than this one and probably more in depth as far as testing like light fastness and all those other qualities. But just for simplicity's sake, I wanted to do a very simple review, kind of just chill and laid back, because I think that just because something is trendy doesn't mean it's necessarily bad. I know I said that at the beginning, but I really think it's true. And I would say if you're interested in gouache, or if you just want to try something new, even if you've never painted before, I think these paints are great. And even if you have painted before and you're experienced, I think that these paints will kind of allow you to get a fresh start and try something different that maybe you've never tried before. And yeah, that's all I have to say. Have a great day. Bye.